Could the automatic measuring tool be something that a homeowner could do? So I assume he means that, a virtual audit. Is that something that a homeowner could take on themselves? And I think what I'd like to maybe have each of you talk about is the different requirements to perform a virtual audit or remote assessment, or to become an EA. You touched on that a little bit, Cindy, but maybe Armand, maybe we'll start with you because that's about the automatic measuring tools. So could it be used by the homeowner?
Yeah, so to clarify, the automatic measuring tool that we are working on is for doing on-site assessments. This is not something you give the homeowner, I think, because there is a lot of know-how of how to use this. For example, if you're standing on top of an exposed floor, cantilevered floor, like explaining these kind of concepts to a person who is just a homeowner is going to take way too much time, and it's just downright impossible. So no, this is like made for professionals who understand the work, who understand the underlying technology, but it just allows them to do the work faster. However, we have done a ton of work to make the equipment as accessible as possible. So anybody who has an iPhone Pro in the last few years can just use this technology. It's $35,000 worth of technology of like 2-3 years ago that we have crammed in an iPhone, and we joke that these are now hand warmers because they get so hot because we're doing so many things with them.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that we get to have a technology that just makes this so accessible. For the people who just want to do something DIY, I think something like a remote rating. They answer their 10 questions. It's designed for them. Like, it doesn't ask about our values. It doesn't ask about insulation. It just like asks them about what they should know. And then when they are at the last steps, we are like, okay, this is like what we think your home is, but these are the next steps for you to take. And that hopefully encourages those DIYers to understand all the intricacies. And as Cindy mentioned, for example, the house as a system mentality, and the fact that they can't just like jump to the Home Depot and buy something and put it in and call it a day.
So
yeah, I was going to say, chime in there, Cindy.
Yeah. So there are, I will say, Casey gets a lot of people reaching out because they've got this tool and that tool. And absolutely, if we can have tools that can reduce the time for energy advisors, that's fantastic, because the energy advisors, if we can give them enough time to have those conversations with their homeowners, the challenge is like when there are rebates and such, homeowners don't necessarily want to pay a lot of money to have those conversations. Energy advisors are consultants. They're advisors. They're not just somebody who comes in, takes a bunch of measurements, throws this blower door, throws some numbers in a modeling software, and boom, you're done. They are a partner in your retrofit, in your equipment change. The concerns that we have with some of the virtual, the statements that a virtual tool can do, what an energy advisor can do, and there are some people out there saying it can. The concerns we have is that the recommendations of somebody making recommendations to someone you haven't seen the house with, there is a great risk of unintended consequences. There's a great risk, because again, that energy advisor is seeing things that aren't being captured in that virtual, even in a remote, like if a homeowner is going around videotaping, because you might miss something. There is the concern about, combustion issues. There's a concern about mold, indoor air quality. And again, that's where the energy advisor can provide a lot of advice and guidance. I mean, that's really, we also are concerned. One of our things is we're advocating that these are not called labels per se if it's coming from a virtual tool. There's going to be a lot of confusion in the marketplace if you're having, the virtual assessment that's done in BC that's just really saying, here's sort of where you're sitting, and there's a little bit of input, I believe, Armand, from the homeowners. But it's not a true, it's now you have the EnerGuide label. Using the word label is going to be confusing. Using the word audit is going to be confusing and between what is an energy advisor's role and these. So some of the things that we're advocating for is clear language and a clear understanding of the uses and the differences. But we want to be able to have the time to talk to the homeowners when there are incentive programs and people are only paying a certain amount of money, or being rebated and incentivized to use an energy advisor. There isn't often enough time for that energy advisor to spend time with the homeowner. So tools like that Armand is showing, where the measurements can be done more, faster, fantastic. Bring it on. We want to see those things, as long as they're also affordable for the EA to be able to use.